Former DA member and Johannesburg member Herman Mashaba has officially launched his own political party. Action SA says it will curb illegal immigration. Among some of its members are former ANC MPs Makosi Khoza as well as Fikeni. So for more on this, I'm joined by political analyst Dr. Somadoda Fikeni. He joins me via Skype from Pretoria this evening. Thanks a lot for joining us this evening, Dr. Fikeni. I mean, here it is, Action SA. I think one thing South Africans want to know is, could this be the answer that we're looking for in terms of curbing and also spearheading a brighter future in the South African context? Or is this just another political party formed for the purpose of getting more votes?
Well, I do think that South Africa is such a fragmented society today, politically especially, such that no one party will come to sweep the slates, because it may appeal to one constituency and not appeal to others. And it is still unproven indeed, because remember that Herman Mashaba had a very prominent role in Johannesburg, but he was using DA infrastructure, political infrastructure. Now he still has to build his own political infrastructure and deal with multiple stakeholders, and not just rely on him and his profile alone, because we've seen this not working very well with Mampele Rampele, even though the agenda was seemingly promising.
I mean, he's got a few Democratic Alliance or former Democratic Alliance staffers. One wonders, is this another DA 2.0? And just in terms of the ethos, as well as the experience of some of these staffers that have now joined Action SA, how do you avoid it being another remake of the Democratic Alliance?
It might as well be, remember that what attracted DA to Mashaba and Mashaba to DA were some of the commonalities ideologically, especially his fervent belief in the private sector playing a prominent role in privatization. So to that extent, you have an overlap. Also on the platform of the attitude towards immigration and foreign nationals, in the last election campaign, DA had that platform, which is now similar to Action SA. So there are many ideological similarities. It will now boil down to the issue of whether he can appeal to the black constituency, which otherwise would have belonged to the DA, but now that DA has issues in terms of the racist or the racial stigma.
I mean, he's been quoted as saying that his party's sole focus will be to unseat the African National Congress. Is that a way to go, that your actual sole mandate is to make sure that you unseat another political party instead of being able to articulate quite clearly those policies that resonate with people and hope that those people will align with your values as well as your mission of your political party?
Well, I do think that those advising him would actually help to advise him not to be so fixated with the ANC, but rather to improve on his platform and the policy offerings, because once you react and your platform is based on reacting to another party because you so distaste the things it has done, it does not translate necessarily into supporting you. Some people may support you just as a pressure group to put pressure on the ANC. That is why the best thing is to present a platform that is compelling and appealing, irrespective of which party is there in power.
Yeah. I mean, look, Dr. Fikeni, looking at some of the policies, I mean, such as the supporting of the free market, privatization of state-owned entities, reforming of what is said to be draconian labor laws and a crackdown on corruption, all wonderful on paper. And also, here's another one, minimal government interference, where the private sector is seen as a valued and trusted partner in our efforts to reduce unemployment as well as inequality. I mean, we're talking here about the values and the ethos of the Democratic Alliance. Then it must beg the question around, do people actually, and will South Africans actually buy into this? Or will they just see Action SA as another DA with a black face?
That is the main problem right now, because they are fishing in the same pond ideologically. And also it comes at the time when the global system post-COVID-19 is likely going to change, and it was already changing because of the global trends. Economic nationalism, even in countries that they used to look at as the best practice, like Britain, like America, is beginning to see greater and greater government intervention in face of economic crisis. So leaving everything to the private sector might actually be the undoing of the party itself, because everywhere else, even countries which now are successful in the private sector, had a very strong involvement of government in terms of policy space and in terms of giving any support that is needed in the initial stages.
I mean, looking here at the future of Action SA, I mean, given the former DA staffers, the policies that have been articulated by the leader, Herman Mashaba, do you foresee a favorable future for this political party? Or, given the policies that are quite close matching with the DA, could we see it almost take on the role and the trajectory of one such a COPE?
Not necessarily COPE, because he comes at the time when some people think he had done some credible job in the city of Johannesburg. He's a strong personality, very clear in terms of his views, and he comes at the time when two major parties, the ANC and the DA, are at their most vulnerable, and they are somewhat at times having internal serious problems. And that in itself might just be the ideal period to create another party. It may not be a big party. In South Africa, we have never seen an outburst of a party that takes over. They grow incrementally because people stay in their traditional bases. And again, the other thing that we ought to raise are the two prominent members originally from the ANC, Feki Mentor and Dr. Khoza. And both personalities are quite strong personalities, prominent, and at times have had a brush-in with their previous political parties and other formations. The key issue is, can Action SA afford to have all these strong personalities without them clashing down the road?
Dr. Somadoda Fikeni, we're going to have to leave it there for this evening. Thanks a lot for joining us, shedding some light in terms of Action SA. What does the future hold for it? Is it another democratic alliance, just a renamed, reworked? Is it DA 2.0? Or is it that South Africans can actually resonate with this new political party and maybe even find a new political home? You be the judge of that conversation.